The sound of the slap echoed through the formal dining room, followed by a heavy silence. My daughter, Lily, stood frozen, her hand touching the red mark blooming on her cheek, while my mother-in-law, Margaret Blackwood, towered over her in rage. "How dare you spread such filthy lies?" Margaret's voice shook with fury. At my own dinner table, around the massive mahogany table, other family members sat in shocked silence, their eyes darting between Margaret's furious face and the stack of photos Lily had dropped on the table. Photos clearly showing Margaret with Thomas Reynolds, her late husband's former business partner, in very compromising positions. "They're not lies, Grandma," Lily said quietly, her voice steady despite the trembling in her hands. "Dad found out everything before he died. About you and Uncle Thomas. About the money you both took." Margaret's perfectly manicured hand twitched, as if she wanted to slap Lily again. "Your father died in a tragic accident. These fabrications are just the desperate attention-seeking of a child. Whoa. Who found Dad's evidence files?" Lily interrupted, pulling out her phone. "The ones showing how you and Uncle Thomas were embezzling from the company for years. The ones Dad was going to take to the board the day his brake lines mysteriously failed." The crystal wine glass in Margaret's hand shattered, sending expensive burgundy across the white tablecloth like blood. "Richard," Margaret appealed to her other son, "surely you won't let this insolent child destroy our family's reputation with these bank statements." I finally spoke up, pulling out my own folder. "The offshore accounts, the fake charity foundations. James found it all, Margaret. Every dirty little secret." The color drained from Margaret's perfectly made-up face. "You have no proof." "Actually," Lily's voice grew stronger, "we have every proof. Dad made copies of everything, even recorded your last conversation with Uncle Thomas about the accident that needed to happen." Thomas Reynolds, sitting at Margaret's right hand as he had been since James's death 6 months ago, suddenly looked very pale. "This is preposterous. Margaret, we should." "Should what?" I asked quietly. "Run to the airport like you tried to do the night James died? The police have those security cameras too, Thomas." Around the table, the other family members began frantically checking their phones, no doubt seeing the breaking news about corruption allegations at the company's highest levels. "This is nothing but slander," Margaret declared, but her voice had lost its usual authority. "The board will never." "Already has," Lily cut in, sliding another document across the table. "Dad made sure of that before he died. As of this morning, I'm the majority shareholder and new CEO, with Mom as executor until I turn 21. Margaret's legs seemed to give out as she sank into her chair. "Impossible. The company bylaws were changed last year," I finished. "When James discovered your little romance wasn't just about betraying his father's memory, but stealing from his legacy too." Thomas started to stand, but Lily's next words froze him in place. "The FBI is already in the building, Uncle Thomas. Dad's files were very thorough about everything." The sound of police sirens began to drift through the mansion's expensive windows. Margaret's hand shook as she reached for another wine glass, only to have Lily slide it away. "I think you'll want to be sober for this next part, Grandma," my daughter said quietly. "The part where we discuss what really happened the night Dad died." Thomas half rose again. "Now see here. Sit down, Uncle Thomas." Lily's voice could have frozen hell itself. "The exits are already covered. Dad thought of everything." Around the table, other family members began edging their chairs away from Margaret and Thomas, years of carefully cultivated loyalties crumbling in the face of undeniable evidence. "The company's annual report," Lily continued, pulling up documents on her tablet, "shows some interesting transfers to shell companies in the Caymans. Companies that, coincidentally, purchased a significant amount of brake line manufacturing equipment 3 months before Dad's accident." Margaret's face went from pale to ashen. "You can't possibly." "Prove it?" I smiled grimly. "James kept a detailed record of everything after he first suspected you, including the text messages you deleted between you and your brake specialist." Thomas's expensive watch clicked against his crystal water glass as his hand trembled. "This is absurd, Margaret. Tell them." "Tell us what?" Lily asked, her voice eerily calm. "About how you both panicked when Dad started asking questions about the missing funds. About how Grandma suggested that accidents happen all the time to people who dig too deep. The sound of footsteps in the hallway made everyone turn. 2 FBI agents appeared in the dining room doorway, followed by the company's head of security. Mrs. Blackwood, one agent stepped forward. Mr. Reynolds, we have some questions about the death of James Blackwood. Margaret stood so quickly that her chair toppled backward. I demand to speak to my lawyer. The one who helped set up the shell companies? Lily asked innocently. He's already talking to the SEC. Dad's files were very convincing. Thomas made a break for the French doors leading to the garden, only to find more agents waiting outside. The look of desperation on his face would have been satisfying if the cost hadn't been so high. How long? I asked Margaret as the agents began reading their rights. How long were you stealing from your own husband's company, from your son's inheritance? You don't understand. Margaret's perfect composure finally cracked. The lifestyle we needed to maintain, the social obligations, were worth killing your own son. Lily's voice broke for the first time. Worth making your granddaughter an orphan. The agents led Thomas away in handcuffs as Margaret stood trembling in her designer dress. Around the table, shell-shocked family members watched their matriarch's empire crumble. The board meeting tomorrow, Lily continued with remarkable steadiness, will be interesting, especially the part where we discuss the real financial reports, the ones Dad protected with his life. You'll destroy everything, Margaret whispered. The family name was destroyed the moment you chose money over your own son's life. I cut in. The moment you decided your affair and your theft were worth more than your grandson's father. As the agents moved to handcuff Margaret, she made one last desperate attempt. Lily, darling, think about the scandal. Think about what this will do to your social position. Lily stood at the head of the table, her father's place, and looked at her grandmother with a mixture of pity and disgust. My social position? You mean like when you told everyone Dad's death was from drinking and driving? When you tried to ruin his reputation to cover your tracks? The other family members gasped. Margaret had spent months spreading rumors about James's reckless behavior and dangerous habits. I had to protect the family name, Margaret insisted as the handcuffs clicked shut. Everything I did was for this family's standing. No, Lily's voice cut like steel. Everything you did was for yourself. The money, the affair, the murder, it was all about you, Grandma. Always has been. I pulled out one final document, James's last letter to his daughter. Your father knew this day might come, Lily. He wanted you to have this. Margaret tried to snatch the letter, but the agents held her back. She watched helplessly as Lily read her father's final words. My dearest Lily, she read aloud, her voice strong despite the tears in her eyes. If you're reading this, then what I feared has happened. But I know you'll have the courage to do what's right. You always have. Thomas, already in custody, called from the hallway. Margaret, don't say another word. The lawyers will. Will what? Lily looked up from her father's letter. Hide the evidence. Dad made copies of everything. Every transaction, every message, every secret meeting. He knew exactly what you both were capable of. The family watched in stunned silence as Margaret Blackwood, pillar of society, charitable foundation head, and respected businesswoman, was led away in handcuffs. The company announcement goes out tonight, I said to the remaining family members. Full disclosure, complete transparency. James wanted it that way. But the stock price, one of the cousins protested. Our investments are safe, Lily assured them. Dad set up protections for the innocent shareholders. The only ones losing everything are the ones who helped murder him. As if on cue, phones around the table began buzzing with news alerts about the arrests. Margaret's carefully curated social media accounts would be exploding with the scandal she had tried so desperately to avoid. Lily, I touched my daughter's shoulder. Your father would be so proud of you. She picked up her grandmother's fallen nameplate from the head of the table, the one declaring Margaret as CEO, and replaced it with her own. Dad always said the truth comes out eventually, she said quietly. He just wanted to make sure it came out the right way. As we watched the police cars drive away with Margaret and Thomas, Lily turned to the stunned family members still seated at the dinner table. The company's first board meeting under new leadership is tomorrow at 9 a.m., she announced. We'll be discussing the new ethics policy. Attendance is mandatory. One by one, the family members nodded, understanding that the power structure they'd known their entire lives had just been irrevocably changed. "And Grandma's office?" someone asked hesitantly. Lily smiled slightly. "It is being converted into a memorial for Dad. Something to remind everyone that integrity matters more than image. After all, some lessons about truth and justice are best taught from the very office where the crimes were committed. And sometimes the most powerful revenge isn't in destroying an empire. It's in rebuilding it with the very values its corrupt leaders tried to destroy."